Good day YouTube, I'm Hills on the Hunt, welcome back to the channel, and in today's video we have my most recent weekly watches, so let's go. Alrighty, welcome back to the channel. So yeah, in this video I've got my weekly watches, another 7 this week. Like I said last time, it seems to be the norm at the moment, that's how many I'm able to get through, but it's fine, it's one a day we're averaging. I'd love to get a couple more in, but things are things. So at least getting 7 movies in. Another real mixed bag. Western, got some horror, got some OG movies, and something really random coming in. But yeah, so 7 movies, we'll go through them. I'll let you know what I think about them, and then as always I'll show you my ratings as per my letterbox. So yeah, we'll go in with the first one. So out of the gate this week, the first one we watched was Massacre Time by the legendary Lucio Fulci. I wanted to kind of get hold of all of the Fulci westerns. I don't know how many there are, 3, 4 maybe. I've got For the Apocalypse somewhere up there, up in the top corner, with the Anchor Bay collection. And then there's this one, and I think there's a couple more, but I could be, it's 1 or 2 more. I don't think he made too many westerns. I don't think he delved too far into it. But I enjoyed this one. Starring Franco Nero and George Hilton, and also Nino Castelnuovo. Yeah, so this is regarding 2 brothers. Names are Tom and Jeff, half brothers. Tom played by Franco Nero and Jeff played by George Hilton. Jeff is he's just relies on alcohol. He's just an absolute drunk. He's just no use to anybody. Tom is more successful of the 2, and he comes back to his village to find out that it's overrun by Jason and his father. Jason's a bit of a psychopath, so him and his scummy guys are kind of running the village and just terrorizing people while they're there. Tom comes back to the village to kind of get it back, and that's what the kind of movie is revolving around. It's that once the fight scenes start, once the actual battle scene starts, it's extremely bloody. If you've ever seen a Fulci movie, you kind of know what to expect. Extremely bloody, violent. Yeah, really enjoyed it. Really good. Franco Nero very good in as Tom. I've seen him in a few movies, and I've kind of always enjoyed kind of what he does. But yeah, overall this was fun. It was enjoyable enough. There's a nice little secret twist at the end, which kind of ties everything in together quite nicely in a little bow. But overall, yeah, in terms of the Fulci westerns, I watched, like I said, I watched For the Apocalypse, and I really enjoyed that. I enjoyed this one. It's not going to set the world alight in any way. I'm sure, I mean, from what I've heard, there are a lot more better westerns out there, spaghetti westerns and things along those lines. So I'm still venturing into it bit by bit. But yeah, I enjoyed this one. It was a good fun time. Really enjoyable characters. Fulci's still the master in terms of Italian cinema. So yeah, I had a good time with this one. But yeah, let me know if you've seen this one, or if you've seen For the Apocalypse. Let me know what you thought of them. And let me know in the description below how many total westerns he did. I think it's 3 or 4. I think it's 4. But somebody will correct me in the thingamajig below, in the description, the comment section below. That's what it's called. But yeah, it was a good start to the week. I enjoyed this Massacre Time. Yeah, it was a good time. All right, we delved into a real left field direction next with Squirm from 1976, directed by Jeff Leachman, starring Pam. His name? Don Scardino. I can't even read my own writing. Don Scardino, Patricia Percy, R.A. Dow, Julian Sullivan, and Peter McLean. So yeah, you know what? It's a real proper 70s movie. Like, you just looking at everything that's going on, the setup, the place where it's located, everything is very, very low budget, low setting, and very, very 70s style. Removes around Fly Creek, Georgia, small town, who in the midst of a really bad storm, which hits their power lines and drops their power lines into wet soil, mud and infiltrates a load of worms that are underground, turning them into kind of huge man-eating worms. Stay with me on this one. And it's up to two people, Mick and Jerry, who are played by Don Scardino and Patricia Percy, to kind of alert the sheriff and security and families and everything. And as you know, with these kind of movies, nobody believes them. They're some kooky kids that nobody will believe. They're just talking nonsense. They're causing chaos. They're causing trouble. And yeah, so that's kind of what happens. It takes a while for the worms to kind of get involved in the movie, but once they do, yeah, it proper creeped me out. I remember saying when I picked this up in one of my original pickup videos that it's just gonna squelch me out, and it did. Like worms, just creepy as hell. But you know what? For what it was, it did the job. It was creepy enough. It was enjoyable enough. The cast was good enough. And I don't know what. I don't know why. I found actually Patricia Percy, so I don't know if you can see her there in the middle. She was actually really cute. I don't know why. I don't know what it was. Just something about her. She just had this real cuteness about her. And you kind of wanted her to survive because she was the one trying to convince everyone that this was reality in terms of what's going on. But because of her friend, who was a bit of a troublemaker, nobody believed her either, not including her family either, until they were the one attacked by worms. Yeah, enjoyed it. The worms were like creepy enough, and the close-ups they had on like the worms on people's faces was just like, ugh. But you know what? I had a good time with this. It was enjoyable enough. Yeah, it did the job. It did what it needed to do. It built up nicely to the worms infiltrating, slowly appearing in places, and then full-on blow-on. But yeah, I love the image on the front there. Yeah, really had good fun with this one. If you get a chance to pick it up, like I said, it's not going to set the world alight, but you'll have a good time with it. You'll enjoy it. But yeah, 1976, Squirm. Let me know if you've seen this one in the description below. Definitely worth checking out. It's not a bad little movie. Give it a go. Okay, so next one, we ventured back to Lucio Fulci with Sodomer's Ghost. This was completely different to Massacre Time. This is one of his later movies. This one is from 1988. The film starts off back in Nazi times, in the midst of a Nazi orgy. You've got one guy who is known as, just known as Willie the Nazi. He's filming a orgy going on while there's a war going on. Things to do, you got to pass the time somehow. And yeah, in the middle of the orgy, they get bombed. The place gets bombed and they all get killed. The story ventures forward like 50 years, and a group of teens who are on their way to a cabin, like location-wise, get lost, take a wrong path, and end up at the house where all these bombings happen. The property looks like it's been restored. And yeah, so they decide, well, we'll just stay here. It's empty, except it's not empty. There's a big mirror in one of the bedrooms, and Willie is on the other side of the bedroom, and he can see kind of everything that's going on and steps through. This is a violent dude, and he starts violently kind of sexually assaulting the women until they start fighting back. And yeah, that's essentially what the movie revolves around. It's just then a battle of survival, trying to stop all these reigniting Nazis coming back from death to try and kill them. It wasn't one of the best Fulci movies. It's one of his older movies, but it's a movie I've never seen before, and I do want to kind of pick up as many of Fulci's movies as I can to check them out. But it was okay for what it was. It gives you everything you want. If you wanted pretty little girls, yeah, they're in there. If you wanted boobs, they're in there. If you wanted gore, it's in it. But I just don't think it kind of pieced everything together as it should have. Interesting concept, but not bad. It was okay for what it was. It wasn't the best movie. It's not going to be up there with my favorite Fulcis. I don't think it would have even come close. Probably wouldn't. It's probably not going to get ranked higher than Massacre Time either. But it's a Fulci movie. It's one I want to collect. I want to try and get his full library as much as I can. So yeah, we'll keep this one in the collection. But yeah, Sodom's Ghost. Let me know if you've heard of it, seen it. Let me know what your views are on Lucio Fulci. What is your favourite Fulci movie? Let me know down below. All right, moving along, we took a trip back in time to 1936. Another trip into Alfred Hitchcock, and this is Secret Agent. Yeah, directed by Alfred Hitchcock, starring Madeleine Carroll, Peter Law, John Gielgud, Robert Young. So the movie revolves around John Gielgud's character, Edgar / Richard Ashburn. He's a novelist, and he comes home to find out he's died. It's a bad way to finish a holiday, but as the story progresses, he finds out that he's been recruited by British intelligence to take a trip to Switzerland to find a German spy. And that's all he's been told. He's got a compatriot going with him, known as the General, who's just a lunatic assassin, played by Peter Law. And he's been assigned a wife called Elsa, played by Madeleine Carroll. When he first arrives to the hotel where they're all supposed to meet, Madeleine is in the shower, and there's another guy sitting in the front room. Madeleine got there a day before, and she met this gentleman, played by Robert Young, in the bar, and they get talking. Once Richard walks in and introduces himself as the husband, this guy scrams, and that's where they kind of get involved and try and put it together. The star of the show in this movie is Peter Law as the General. He's unhinged. Absolutely unhinged. He's a womanizer. He's just a lunatic assassin. He's just fully unhinged. That would be him there underneath my middle finger, right there. Yeah, Madeleine Carroll, stunning. But yeah, it was. You know what? It was enjoyable. It was enjoyable enough. I read on Letterboxd after that it's probably not one of Hitchcock's strongest, but it's one of his earliest. So you can kind of see already the mystery elements and things like that starting to fall into place early. Obviously, I'm not working in any kind of order with my Hitchcock movies. I'm just picking one up off the shelf and giving it a go. I don't know enough about them to comment on his work, so I wouldn't even attempt to. I'm literally going on a movie by movie basis. But I enjoyed this one. It did what it needed. The three main characters were very enjoyable. They kind of knew what they were doing, and you can see the interactions between Richard and Elsa, where that story was going and how it was going to impact the end of the movie. The key was kind of how they were going to fit in the German spy into all of this, and I think Hitchcock kind of tied that up really nicely in terms of who it was and how it impacted. The little kind of red herrings he threw in the middle. In terms of watching it, I enjoyed it. There was enough going on to keep you entertained. It wasn't over the top. I think it was only, in terms of running time, 82 minutes. So an hour and 20 minutes, give or take, end and start credits, probably about an hour and 15. Yeah, you know what? I had a good time with this. It's enjoyable. It was a fun movie. I think I've heard people like Roy and Stuart, Blue Roy Movies, and Stuart George's Home Movie, they talk about a Sunday afternoon movie. This would be ideal as a Sunday afternoon movie. Something you can just stick on and just have a chilled afternoon and enjoy. But yeah, good characters, good story, enough going on. Yeah, this was a good time. Let me know if you've seen this one, Secret Agent. But yeah, this was enjoyable enough. As you may have been aware this week, it was Friday the 13th. So, tradition being tradition, the next movie was Friday the 13th, part 3. This is my favourite version. This is my favourite part in all of the movies. The movie where Jason gets his mask. Yeah, this is just one of my favourites. This is 1982, directed by Steve Miner, starring Richard Brooker as Jason, Dana Kimmel, Paul Krapka, Tracy Savage, and Larry Zerner as Shelley. Now, Larry Zerner as Shelley is the most important character in the movie because he is the one who brings the hockey mask to the cabin that Jason then ends up taking. If you've seen parts 1 and 2, I'm sorry for the spoilers because the movies are only 40 years old. But yeah, Jason wears a sack over his head to cover his deformed face. And then he gets the hockey mask in the third movie. Um, so I watched it in 3D. There are, if I can open it, come on, case open. There it is. So there are a pair of Friday the 13th 3D glasses in there, 3D DVD version, and I had a great time. It was seriously so much fun. Yeah, your normal premise of a slasher movie, bunch of teens come up to the house. The one thing I did enjoy, before I go into that, was this one picked up exactly right at the end of part 2, which I thought was really good. And then this picks up, I think it's the day after these teens arrive. And yeah, it was really good. The teens were enjoyable enough. Like I said, Shelley was the goofy one, always playing pranks, and you had the sidebar of a bunch of like gang people where they pick up from the town, and the characters enough were enjoyable. The kills were fun. There's one particular one where there's one of the girls is in the lake. Jason ends up on a bridge, and he's got like I don't know what you call it, like a harpoon type thing, and he shoots it from there, and you just see it in 3D. It was really cool because you see it fly forward and come towards the screen, and it rips her eye out, and you just see the eye dragging back in the other direction. Very cool. Yeah, there was a scene where one of the guys was doing handstands, and Jason just carves him down the middle, Terrifier style. Yeah, it was fun. It was really enjoyable. Pitchforks in the throat, and yeah, there was all sorts of fun. I mean, if you've seen any of the Friday the 13th movies, it's 80s horror. You know what you're going to get. You're going to get savage, you're going to get gore, you're going to get boobs. It ticks every box in your bingo case. As long as it does that, you've got a winning formula. I love Friday the 13th, the movies. I don't think there's one I didn't enjoy. There's a couple towards the end. Jason X gets a lot of hate. Love it. What would you not want with a slasher in space? Like, why would you not love that? I think Friday the 13th, the last Friday, Jason Goes to Hell, I think that gets a lot of crap. But again, I enjoyed it. But I'm a sucker for trashy, slashy horror movies. So this is right up my street. But yeah, I had a good time with this one. I can't hate Friday the 13th because it's one of the franchises I grew up with. So I'm always going to love it. But yeah, let me know if you've watched the Friday the 13th series. Which is your favourite? In fact, if you're not a fan of the Friday the 13th series, which of the kind of big 80s horror trilogies or horror franchises, so you've got your Halloween, you've got Texas Chainsaw, even though that started in the 70s, but it ventured into the 80s. Yeah, Halloween, Nightmare on Elm Street. Which one was your favourite? Which one did you enjoy most? Which one was your favourite killer? But yeah, Friday the 13th, part 3. Next up, we went back into 1968, directed by Norman Jewison, starring Steve McQueen, Faye Dunaway, and Paul Burke. This is the Thomas Crown Affair, the original. There is a remake with Pierce Brosnan and Rene Russo. I enjoyed this one. This was quite slick. Thomas Crown, played by Steve McQueen, is a rich bank executive, and he's just bored with life. So he plots a bank raid. Very cleverly done. So the people in the bank raid, they never meet until the day of the bank raid. He meets each individual person over the phone, and he has one almost face-to-face meeting where they're in a room, he's behind a screen, like blackout, and he's just telling them exactly what happens. He plots everything, sitting there like a puppet master, just playing all the pieces in place, and steals kind of $2 million from the bank. This guy's already worth $4 million, so another $2 million to him is nothing. It's just pocket change because he's that bored. The police don't know what's happened. They have no idea what's gone. Every one of the people involved in the bank raid get away until they bring in a hard nut investigator, like an insurance investigator, played by Faye Dunaway. Stunning, absolutely stunning. There you can see. And she gets shown. She starts putting pieces together, and within the first day or so, she points out the fact that it is Steve McQueen has done it, but she has no way to prove it. That's what's going on and how he's done it. So she gets closer to him. And they end up dating. then the game of like cat and mouse starts, because although they like each other, she's still got a job to do. He's got a crime to kind of pertain and stay away from, to avoid doing it. But yeah, it was good. Um, the movie was slick. The scenes with these two in there, where they're kind of back and forth with each other, was very good. There's a scene where they're playing chess, and it's just very, very slow paced. Just you can see they're not trusting each other, and she's trying to manipulate him sexually, just by kind of playing with her top and like just rubbing her hands, like just doing things like that to kind of put him off. Um, and yeah, it worked out really nice. The police dude, played by Paul Burke, named Eddie, he's just like hard nut. He just wants this solved, and he's not willing to take anything for an answer. Yeah, it was decent enough. I don't know whether it could have been better in any way. I felt like they spent so long on the actual bank robbery part and the building up of these two meeting, that you didn't get much screen time within the two of them. So either they could have cut maybe 5-10 minutes from that, or added another 10-15 minutes to the end of the movie, so just to give it a bit more, because the scenes where they two were on the screen were the best for me. They were really enjoyable. They're very good along with each other. So I enjoyed that. But that would be a mild criticism. Overall, I really had a good time with this. It was a nice, slick little movie. And if you've seen the Pierce Brosnan version, I definitely recommend checking this one out. Again, good Sunday afternoon movie. Yeah, really enjoyable. So yeah, let me know if you've seen this version of the Thomas Crown Affair. And then, well, we ended the week with this: Bachelor Party in the Bungalow of the Damned. So, thank you to Tim, over at Tim's Film Waffle, for thinking of me when you found this in the CEX and sending it over to me. I appreciate it. There's two elements to this movie. So there's the first 10-15 minutes, and then there's the rest of the movie. First 10-15 minutes, I sat there and I was like, oh God, what have I got myself into? What is happening here? Yeah, it was not great. Lloyd Kaufman's in it, the Trauma King. He's in it for about 20 seconds, right at the beginning of the movie. So the reason why the first part of the movie, where I was kind of like banging my head against the wall, the first scene is a guy and his fiance just having a conversation about how he chose her. And the reason he chose her is the first time they slept together, she swallowed and another girl spat. And that was the reason he chose her. And that was a level of the conversation that started. And I was like, oh God, here we go. Then the next scene is you hear a woman moaning. And the camera pans through like quite quickly to the door. They finish, the door opens, a guy walks out, and then out walks out what you expect to be a woman. It's not. It's Lloyd Kaufman in a negligee and a wig. And at that point, I was contemplating life's choices about why I enjoy trashy horror movies. And that's what was happening. But the movie got better. I say better, but better than what it was. You have the group of friends who are going to a cabin for a bachelor party. For their dude, Chuck is the one who's getting married to Michelle, I think it is. And his best man Sammy has kind of arranged this. Now, slight sidebar: Sammy's the best character in the movie. Guy's wicked, so good. He just owns every scene of the movie. He's so good in this movie. By far my favorite character. Now, these two, you only see them in the movie on the box. They're not actually in the movie. They're just there to sell the movie on the box. The girls who come, because every bachelor party has to have a stripper, I believe, from whatever I've watched in terms of American horror movies, are a little bit different. They're a little bit on the curvier side. And I read a few things in Letterboxd where people were criticizing them, saying that, oh, they were fat chicks. And I was like, dude, just no, just no. They were curvier girls. That's all you needed to know. They were fine for what they were. They were really pretty. You weren't like. I hate this prerogative where every girl in every movie, in any kind of movie, has to be slim, blonde, big boob. Like, just no. If girls in real life are different sized, then girls in movies should be different size. It shouldn't just be the case that, you know, you have to have a type of girl to make a movie sell. This is a low budget movie, so you're not going to end up getting Sydney Sweeney or anything like that. You get what you pay for. The girls in this were fine. They were pretty good looking, smoking bodies. That's it. That's all you wanted. So they have their night. They have their sex with their friends and whatnot. And turns out that they're vampires. And that's where the fun starts, because two of the guys are brutalized. Just very, very gore. There's lots of gore in this, and there's lots of boobs in this. So again, it ticks all the horror boxes. Yeah, it's fun. You know what? It was fun. I had a good time with it. It was silly. It was stupid. Like, some of the characters were just dumb. There's loads of gay jokes, but overall, I had a fun time with it. It was just silly. I went in with the expectation that it's going to be dreadfully bad, and it exceeded my expectations. It was actually better than I thought it would be. So, in that sense, I enjoyed it. It was run of the mill. It did the job that it was supposed to. I wasn't expecting anything magical. It did what it needed. There's some images in the back, so you can see that. It did what it needed to do. I had a good time. It was a Saturday evening. It was chilled. Nothing exciting on. So I thought, you know what? Let's just watch it. Yeah. I've seen this labeled Brain Damage, and I know they've got some really trashy movies on this. I'm going to seek out a few more. But yeah, this was fun. So Tim, thank you once again for this, dude. Much appreciated. That is everything for the week. We ended in a weird way, so we'll see how next week goes, see what I can find to watch. But let me know in the comments down below what you thought of this week's watches, of the video, and anything in general that I should keep an eye out for. And like, comment, subscribe as always. I always appreciate the comments. I always appreciate the likes. Always grateful to you guys. So thank you so much, and I will see you in the next one. Take care.